like
I
it's
need
like
help.
360. I mean, I never really asked the guy. I don't know, maybe he was drunk or his wife pissed him off or
Yeah.
something, you know. But it was
Oh,
pretty bad.
A little bit of our banter for everybody. All right. So now we're gonna move into the next segment here for a little politics. Could you tell us a little bit about county supervisor? Are you interested in that position or?
Well, Robert, I've been a politician for a number of years.
Mm.
I don't know if a lot of people know that when I first ran for office, it took me 12 tries for public office over 11 years before I got elected to the San Bernardino County Board of Education. So it goes to show you don't give up on yourself. And ever since then, I've been very fortunate and successful. But I attribute that the voters elect me because of my 25 years of education advocacy. And I have a parent right now, Bernice from Colton, and her lovely daughter, Natasha, who's an incoming 9th grader at Colton High. And Bernice,
Congratulations.
And Bernice, you called me for help. Why'd you call me?
Give the mic. Yeah, get it up there close.
Oh, my daughter was being bullied from school. We reported it, but the school never did anything. So I had to remove her and send her to Victorville.
Explain the story from the beginning. Like, how'd she get bullied in school?
Kids were, just name calling her. They wanted to fight her. Put everything posted on Instagram, and
It's terrible. Like I was bullied in first grade and second grade by this one kid named Sam Lopez, and he was a bigger kid than me. But eventually, guess what happened? We got in a fight, and then we were told to sit next to each other until we could talk. So we had to sit there at the table forever. It was a long time we sat there. I think we sat there like almost the whole day, and we finally started talking, and we became friends. It was weird. But I hate bullying. There's some bullies one set of bullies that bullied me. They actually went to juvenile hall, not for bullying me, but for doing other bad things, right?
Yeah.
But bullying can be really hard on kids. So I'm glad that you stepped up. And why didn't the teacher step up like they did for me?
All they said was they needed to do just reports, and they couldn't do anything else. Just write down the reports.
So, I mean, did these kids, was it just name calling and Instagram, or did they try to be physical? Or
They tried to be physical. There were ones where they did push her, and she hit her head with the bench.
Oh.
But there was only reports. They said that it was just drama thing.
was it friends of hers gone bad, or was
Yes.
it?
Before they were friends, and then there's,
That happens a lot.
That happened. I'm going to
Yes.
tell you, my daughter, she just turned 11, and that happened to my daughter this year. And, I sent her teacher a message, and I said, my daughter doesn't want to go to school. She's upset. Now she's sitting here eating lunch by herself. These girls are freaking picking on her. And I think that they're bullying my daughter. And then, I wanted, the teacher got right down to the bottom of it, solved all the problem, and within 24 to 48 hours, all those girls were begging for forgiveness, because she told those girls, if Faith's mother wants to press charges on you guys are going down. Now I know these little girls' mother, but you don't really want to call someone's mother and have to, so I'd let the teacher deal with it, because I figured she could deal with it a little better. If I had to step in, then I would have stepped in, but she handled it.
How are you going to solve it?
Well, when I brought Nastasia
She
back.
called Gil Navarro. That's
When
Are
I
you
brought
going to run
Nastasia,
are you going to
I
run for
called.
office?
Yes.
Oh, well, let us know. Tell us all about it.
He will give more explanation on that.
Yeah.
Well, I did want to say that, and I believe you tried to get help from the vice principal, the principal
I tried with the principal.
of Colton Middle School, and they wouldn't help her. And again, she had to send her daughter up to Victorville with relatives for the 8th grade. So I told her that the U.S. Department of Justice has issued regulations against bullying. And I don't know if you've seen the data across the United States. A large number of young people being bullied have committed suicide. It's a serious issue.
It's scary.
Yes, and I'm going to put a stop to it.
Oh,
Good,
Okay.
good.
She's starting at Colton High School, and these young ladies are going to be also be enrolled there, and I'm going to put a stop to it. I'm not going to let it happen. Every student that goes to school should feel safe And those that have problems, they need to be dealt with. I don't believe there's a bad kid. They just, some need more help than others, But getting back to, thank you, Bernice and Natasha. Did you want to add anything, Natasha, to what I said? No?
You sure, Natasha? So how
She's so pretty.
are you looking forward to your first year of high school?
Honestly, I'm nervous.
You're a little nervous?
Yeah.
Is this your first time on the radio?
Yeah, that too.
Okay, well, you're doing a great job, by the way.
I'm just sitting here and being quiet.
What's your what's the school's name that you're going to go to?
Colton High School.
Colton High School, the Hornets.
Yellow Jackets?
The
Yeah,
Yellow Jackets. All right, cool. Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm not going.
Tell them what you want to major in when through college.
What do you want to be?
Well, I want to be a doctor.
Yeah, that's a great field. That's what every kid in San Bernardino County should want to aspire to be, is something that takes a lot of education. I love that. Education is the key to everything.
And Robert, I was suggesting to Bernice to run for the Colton School Board. There is an election, and her trustee too. There's 2 seats open.
There's an election?
And the reason I told her to go, because by her getting elected, she can help change the policy of the school district so that bullying is taken more seriously. When I got involved in running for office 25 years ago, was because my son had a problem at Poly High School in Riverside. And I was successful in representing him at a hearing. But I said, we need to change this. If you do something wrong, you need to be punished. But kicked out of school for a year?
Yeah, that does no good.
That was
It puts
very
him on the
extreme.
streets. Yeah.
So that's what started my political career. And that's why I said to Bernice, well, there's a beginning to start, and to see by you getting elected, you can also help change the policy for other students.
Okay, well, we'll more than help you. If you'd like to get your name out on I Love San Bernardino Facebook group, we're all over the county. Lots of people from Colton on there, and we can help you run. Make sure you get any of that information to us.
Sure.
And
I know you touched about the 5th Supervisor District, San Bernardino County. Josie Gonzalez is being termed out 2020. And I guess what bothers me, as I live in the 5th District, is like the unincorporated area of Bloomington. They're really tearing Bloomington apart by locating new warehouses. They have trucks going in, and they don't have sidewalks. You know that when it rains, these children have to walk in the gutter with the rain rushing down to walk to school.
oh man,
Yep.
And it's horrible that that's been going on for years. Those are things that I like to see corrected. And one thing, I'm against graffiti, and I don't care, what part of the city has graffiti. It needs to be eradicated ASAP, as soon as
Immediately,
possible. And
it's kind of like trash. You let a little
I'm
bit of
against
graffiti,
trash.
and you get more.
Yeah.
You get more graffiti, more graffiti.
And you're right. We have a homeless issue, and the city of San Bernardino is in the 5th district. I can't believe that nobody's doing anything about it. Okay, we have people sleeping on the sidewalk during the day. These people need help. We have all the resources that we should put together. I understand supposedly there's a county committee on homeless, but I don't know what area they're working on, because they're sure not in the city of San Bernardino.
And some of these people
Not
are
only
mentally,
sleeping.
they need mental help, because they're
defecating
yeah.
all over the city.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, not just sleeping. It is a bad thing going. I mean,
And-
it's
and-
pretty bad
in
that
San Diego. That's what spread all that hepatitis.
Yes, that's right.
it's pretty bad.
Yeah.
So you'd like to run to
Well,
try to clean up.
I'm considering that, but I did want to just comment one more time about my education advocacy. I have over 100 families I represent their children in the school systems: San Bernardino, Rialto, Yucaipa, and so forth, Redlands. And what's happening is that parents are not looked upon as experts of raising their children. So, they're not listened to. In fact, it's my opinion, in front of a school is an invisible marquee that says, The less that parents know, the better we're off. That's my concern. And so what I've been doing, another student that graduated from UCR with honors, we just started a PAC called the California Latino Parents Association, and we're going to use that association to empower parents minimally to use tools in the school to help advocate for their children.
That's an
minimally.
excellent
So-
cause.
You know, Gil, I was in Oceanside, and I ran into these two ladies, and they were teachers. And so I had a very lengthy conversation with them, and what they told me is that the school district will give you what you want. They have to give you what you want for your children. But you have to fight for it, and you have to know their rule book in order to get what you want.
Yeah, and saying that, I have a motto that actually describes exactly what you said. The motto that I've shared with families is that the educational rights that parents don't know are the educational rights that parents don't have, and that's the issue. They don't know their rights. They don't know how to advocate for their
Where do you
children.
find out the rights?
Well,
The San
there-
Bernardino County Handbook?
there's policies online. It depends on what area you want to focus on. You know, we have students with disability issues, and by law, they're supposed to provide reasonable accommodations. But I had one complaint from a family that they refused to take her daughter on a field trip because they didn't feel they could deal with her. So they denied her that, which is against the law. What you're doing is you're discriminating against a disability.
Yeah.
And so then, you know, we have to get that corrected.
Why don't they just bring a parent with?
Well, that's the problem.
Yeah.
You know, it's like so much room, and
Yeah,
but by law they should have accommodated an aide to
Yeah,
assist
yeah,
if there was an issue. You know.
Especially if no kid should be left out, because that's PTSD immediately on them.
Yeah. The problem we have across the board, if you can't see the disability, you don't believe there is one. And, you know, we do. We have a lot of mental health issues. Unfortunately, at least with my clients, the last 5 years, I've seen an increase with female students needing mental health therapy. I don't know what's happening. Of course, we have a lot of issues at home. But it does impact their education.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what my role is. With Gil Navarro, you either love him or hate him.
Well,
And-
That's what they say about me, too.
we love you,
and-
Gil.
but, you know, I'm not here to make friends. I'm here to get the job done, to help the student be successful, and I have a lot of students that have become successful, but they need some guidance and support, which I don't mind doing.
So is that what non-attorney representative
Yeah,
means?
that's a federal regulation that a parent is allowed to have a non-attorney representative in their behalf. So,
At the school.
yes, school system, yeah.
Okay,
Oh,
that's
okay.
pretty interesting.
So that's why I,
And his
So do
number
people
his
pay
number
you?
is 909-246-4133.
yeah. They do retain me. I do work at a sliding scale, but Bernice, am I charging you anything?
No.
Yeah. So, you know, it depends on their income, their situation.
Is he funding you to run too?
No.
Okay, well,
Well,
I'm
sure I'll have to help her.
yeah, well, you'll be campaign manager,
Yeah,
right?
there you go.
Well, thank you very much for standing up for all these kids and for the parents.
Thank you.
I mean, really, the more parents and kids are involved in everything in school, the better.
I do have to add one thing for
Yes.
Bernice. 17 years later, Cecia, my other student, just registered and enrolled her into Valley College. She wants to take a real estate class. She takes her assessment test next week.
Next week.
Yeah. So she wants to
You!
become a student herself.
She's hiding in the corner over there. And actually, she was at the Native Sons of the Golden West
volunteered.
volunteering
Fireworks.
in the fireworks stand. It
Yeah.
was hot in there, and I'm sure I was stinking, right? And she still worked her butt off in there. So we thank you very much, even though you're hiding over in the corner.
And
We do have a caller. Can we get to that, and then we'll
Yes,
see what's
yes,
going
yes.
on? Caller, Mask is calling.
Yeah, Shirley Harlan.
Hey, Shirley, how you doing? Were you listening to Gil there?
Hi, Shirley.
Yes, I was. I just want to say, in terms of bullying, the Girl Scouts, a few years ago when I was doing my video lady, they have information and help empower young people to know what they need to do to handle bullying.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's an avenue for young girls to check out their program.
Okay. Well, thank you for adding that. Now you are a guest on here today, and you discovered in the agenda of the San Bernardino City Council that there was
A staff report.
yeah,
Yes.
a staff report. There's an issue in there that's for the federal government, and you believe, and I believe, that it should be left out of the city government.
Exactly. Yes, it's staff report, and it's item on the agenda number 26. And in the short version of the San Bernardino City agenda, where you just have the numbers listed and a slight information about what it might be, so that you have a sense of how the meeting's going to go. This one had no information. It just indicated request for support.
Very obscure, and that's like it for everyone in the world. If you look at an agenda, and if it's that obscure, look deeper, because
when I looked deeper, and you had to go to their packet on the meeting coming up this Wednesday at 5 o'clock, on packet page 622, this is what it said. A recommendation is to review and discuss and provide directions. The background. The mayor's office received a request from Zachary Michael of the Office of Intergovernmental Affairs of the White House, requesting that the city of San Bernardino support Trump's nominee to the Supreme Court.
what?
And
We should be
as I
staying
read
out of that.
I said, don't they know that city councils are nonpartisan? I mean, that's not their function. They make policies on potholes and how our garbage gets collected and many other things.
I don't
And
think
then,
they really make the
the next
policies.
paragraph dealt with the goals and objectives for 2018 and through the 19th. Consideration of this request and setting directions as a collective body aligns with number 1 goal, implement of the city vision, and goal 5, to improve city operations. I just could not believe the uninformative aspect of this by Andrea Miller, who's a city manager, and the mayor, who apparently received this. And so it's thrown me, and hopefully there's some aspects, some reason for this, but at this point, it's very inappropriate, I think, for the city of San Bernardino to be even considering this, because it's not their function as a council.
And I gave you the full speech, let you do the full speech there. Everyone needs to understand that it's all right to be a Republican or a Democrat or an independent or socialist or communist or whatever you want to be, as long as it's not a Nazi, right? But we all have an equal say at the table here in America. We all have an equal say. And that's why you don't bring the federal politics into the city, because they argue enough in there.
Well, they're nonpartisan, so they're not going to take any position for anyone who's going to be elected, any individual, or certainly not
A Supreme
on
Court
the
justice.
Supreme Court.
Yeah.
There are about 35,000 in each of the wards. There's over 200,000 people in the city of San Bernardino, and how could a city council be partisan to know what all those people wanted? The people who, the person that this prospect is trying to be the Supreme Court, it's our senators that he's visiting right now. Those are the persons who are going to vote vote for him or not vote for him, and that's who does it. Our representatives are senators, and if you have some concern, that's who you contact.
So you're saying they basically went overboard and just really they went after every single city instead of just going after the senators to get their support. They're trying to get city supports too.
Well,
right?
I don't know how Zachary Michael from the Office of Intergovernmental Affairs, whether he sent it to just the city of San Bernardino or whether he was sending them to all the cities.
Michael McKinney said that they sent it to all the cities.
Okay. What I checked with the manager's office to see how the agenda is being set up these days, and I was informed that the departments send their requests to the city manager, and then it goes to print. There seems to be a little lack of check and balances. I know there's a lack of balances in terms of the public, in terms of our being there and giving our input to these things. And I certainly encourage more residents in this city to take the opportunity to go down and speak 3 minutes on an issue that they feel their passion.
This Wednesday at 5 o'clock on the parking structure right next to the City Hall building on the very top floor.
Right. Now, on June 20th, when the issue dealt with our animal shelter, there were over 50 people who spoke, and there were more than that in the audience. And it did make a difference in terms of the outcome and to the animal shelter in a much more positive way than what it was going with just the recommendation from the city manager's office. So it's important, but we have to say what we feel and help our council members and others who are working for the city understand the public's point of view. We live these things every day, and so they affect us very, very personally.
I agree wholeheartedly, and I wish I could be that nice in the way I would say it, but they need to pay attention. And
well, yeah, that's true.
Well, no, I catch them all the time on my video. Like, on the wall, they made rules for me and Carmel and all the people that speak, right? And they made rules for themselves. So we call them out on their rules, like paying attention to the speaker when they're up there.
You know, Shirley, I'm looking through this agenda right now. My phone's having a hard time. Keeps going slow. But there's 935 pages in this agenda, and we, the people, only get 3 minutes.
Right.
Honestly, I always go to city council, and quite honestly, I think that they made this rule to shut me up. Okay, but, how can you even really say what you want to say when there's 935 pages and you get 3 minutes?
Right, and then, Carmel, we're also speaking before we hear the discussion. And in order to discuss it, somebody has to hold them out.
Wait, did you use common sense right there? Wow, I wish our city used common sense sometimes.
It's just,
it gets difficult, Shirley. Thank you so much for finding that, though, and everyone should be looking at the agenda and checking it out and looking a little bit deeper into some of these city things that they're trying to sneak by us. Now, we need to all be at the meeting this Wednesday, 5 o'clock. You can speak. Now we speak in the beginning of the meeting. It's not too long into it, so you don't have to stay the whole time if you don't want to. You can just come and speak if you want.
You can also call the city clerk's office and before 4:30 and say that you want to speak, and they'll put your slip in if you can't get it in there before.
You know what else though? Before, if you couldn't, if you wanted to speak and you couldn't show up, the city clerk would read your letters. Have you noticed that now they just receive and file them? The city clerk no longer reads them. To me, that's a bunch of BS.
Yes, you don't know. There's no feedback back and forth. There's no interaction between us as the public in a helpful way and their actions. And let me just point out one other thing, see if you agree with it. with the new charter, they're trying to do an implementation from the old to the new. A lot of the roles that the council members did before are not the same now with the challenge of a manager, of a council manager system. I think they're having difficulty understanding their role at this point. We need to look at very closely whether they're depending too much on the hired staff and consultants to do the policies, and also at the same time the implementation. That somehow could be a conflict of interest.
You know, Shirley, I think you hit it right on the head, because the city council, they are the ones supposed to make the policy, and then they are to look to the city manager to get it done. Where if you watch now, she's getting it done, and they're all deer in the headlights, and she's pretty much telling them what to do, and here, pass this, read this, da-da-da. And quite honestly, I mean, if you've seen on TV, I ask them all the time, did you even read this, what you're voting on? And they can't raise their hands because they didn't read it. So they're not really even voting on things that they've thoroughly even read through. And, I mean, look around our city. It's affecting our city dramatically. I mean, desperately. Our city is desperately crying out for something.
Well,
Basically, I think people who get into this type of passion to be elected, I think they feel that they're going to make a difference. However, the world today is much different. You know, I'm an 88-year-old woman at this point, and when I haven't been in business and management in government for 10, 15 years. I retired in 89. And when I see how things are done now, it's much more complicated at every level. And I don't see that they're there with any intent to harm me as a resident. I see it as a challenge for them and a challenge for us how to manage the complexity of the laws, the complexity of how departments are managed, and also how people who are more involved in a private way with getting things done too. It's very complicated, and I think it needs creativity or intent to find a creative way to handle it. But I don't see any intent to be mean or to be damaging or that. I don't see that in their behavior. I look at the process of how they're working.
That's because you're too nice.
No, I mean, I kind of think in my own head that, like I said, they're deer in headlights, personally. But
all right. Well, thank you so much, Shirley, for all that hard work and all your hard work for San Bernardino. Can I ask you another question real quick?
Sure.
Just one word or a one theme answer. What is your favorite thing about San Bernardino?
Favorite thing about San Bernardino? Well, I guess it's where I live. I live in an area that was unincorporated. We voted to be part of the city, and it still has kind of a rural feeling of living where I live, and I can hear horses, lambs, chickens, birds.
You know,
and
that's San Bernardino.
That's what I like living here.
That's so funny, because in my mind, Shirley, I said her house. In my mind, before you said that, that's funny.
Well, great. Well, that's a great answer. Thank you, Shirley Harlan, and 88 years old and still loving San Bernardino with all her heart. And I'll see you at the meeting on Wednesday at 5 o'clock at the parking structure next to City Hall.
201.
Thanks, Rob.
Bye-bye. Wow, man, she's just a real breath of fresh air, I could say, for being 88 and as much as she does. I mean, she's everywhere.
She will take the taxi to get to City Hall.
And she doesn't let me get negative, and she didn't let Mark Westwood get negative, and she does, because she realizes the value that you catch more bees with honey, right? But I'm past that point.
I'm going to catch a bee one way or the other, whether I smack it.
I bring a fly swatter and a whole jar of honey. All right? So I got both there. And if they ain't taking no honey, they're going to take a fly swatter.
Hey, Robert, there's another expression. You get more results with honey you do with vinegar.
Well, speaking of all this honey,
Wait
you
a
know.
second. People are drinking vinegar all the time now.
Yeah.
They're getting good results. I hate that. It's
Why do
like,
people drink vinegar?
it's worse than a shot. Oh.
Ooh, who drinks
It's supposed to be
vinegar?
healthy. That apple cider vinegar.
I thought you clean your iron out with
It
vinegar.
cleans you out, man. You start feeling it. Oh, that's weird when you take a
I don't know.
All right. Now to the next thing. Now we're gonna do a little game here. Now you saw the first one there. So, what's your favorite thing about San Bernardino County?
When I get to go on vacation.
Get out of here, you bum! I want a positive one.
That was.
No. Please. Come
Robert
on.
Porter.
I got something good. All right, Mr. Navarro, what is your favorite thing about San Bernardino County?
The whole county. Well, you know, I've met a lot of nice people in San Bernardino County, and I'm going to focus on them. We have great people in San Bernardino County that care about the county, and they care about their individual cities. And I meet people all the time that, and I'm not saying because of me, but know of my reputation and being a fighter for educational rights for parents and students. And one time I got out of the car at the Stater Brothers in Colton. I was getting in the car, from buying some groceries, and somebody got out of the car. It was a gentleman in probably his 40s, 50s. He had a white shirt, a tie on, and as he got out of the car, he saw me getting in, and he says, "God bless you." Now, whether he knew that was me, Gil Navarro, or just in general wanted just to bless me as a human.
Well, that's a good idea. You don't have to bless if you're not, but there's nothing wrong with just saying hello and waving and being kind.
Yeah.
Like, it's amazing. I trip people out when I drive my street. If you're on my street, you get waved at.
You know, Robert,
Period.
I've been trying that out. Like me, I really kind of like to keep to myself, and when I'm out in the world, like pretty much, I'm usually too busy, so I prefer not to be talked to. Okay, but I've been trying out that not being that way, and I've been waving.
Well, how did you wave, though? All right, yeah. The more craziness you put into it, usually the bigger smile you get.
Why don't we ask
So,
Bernice just ask Bernice that question.
oh, I'm right. Then we're on
Okay.
this one. Go ahead, Carmel. I want to hear it out of you.
What?
Ask her.
What's your favorite thing about San Bernardino County?
Well, I'm in Colton more, so it's like
Yeah,
I
that's
really
part of the
don't
county.
know.
So what
do you like about Colton?
So how it goes is there's a big San Bernardino County, and then there's a San Bernardino City, right? But in the county we have Colton and Chino and
Victorville,
Fontana,
Needles.
Rialto. Yeah, it's actually the largest county in the world.
Yeah, it is.
So, but it's all right to say something from Colton. So, what's your favorite thing about Colton?
Everything.
No, you love Colton, huh?
Yeah.
Hey, do you know Paul Rosso, the commish from Colton?
No.
Yeah,
I know
he's
Paul.
a
I know Paul.
yeah. Paul's a good guy. He helps all over, man. He was on KCAA before, but now he has Chaos Radio, his own little thing, and he's a really nice man. And I'm just proud that he's gone out there and really helped Colton a lot.
So have you lived in Colton since birth?
Yeah.
Yeah, I lived in San Bernardino since birth.
Well,
too.
that's good. That's good. And as a doctor, will you stay in Colton and San Bernardino County and help us and help our people?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's positive. Now for your mom, what's your favorite thing about San Bernardino County?
The community, and there's programs for kids. So I have 4 girls, so I like that they have a lot of programs for little kids, for them.
That help them, huh? What is one of your favorite programs like?
Well, in Cesar Chavez Park, they have a daycare, and they go play basketball, swimming, and teach them. So.
Okay, all right, that is positive.
And Colton just published their flyer. Colton just published their flyer on Friday nights. They have different bands at different parks, and Saturday nights movies for the kids. This is out and open in the park, free. You can bring your ice chests and sandwiches or snacks. I don't know anybody else is doing that, and
Have a good time. I think San Bernardino does do a,
Well, I think like
Movie-
once in a while they do
movie
the
in the
movie at the
park.
Wildwood Park.
but I was going to actually hit up Carmel and say, hey, we need to do dinosaurs at the park. Put Jurassic Park up there. Have my fossils out there. Have the excavation. And then have a whole dinosaur-themed dinner. Right? So this is going to be my new fundraising proposal.
And Robert, one of the things I didn't mention about my advocacy, I have 3 parts. The first one, as you know, I represent the students of the school system. But number 2 is the mentoring. I take my students to banquets, fundraisers, different things they never would experience.
And also, you're on the school water board, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
But, and I've taken tours on water, like the Yucaipa treatment plant and so forth. But also, the third one is the reward system. La Brea Tar Pits, that should be your favorite. with
Oh, I love that
dinosaurs.
place. I've gone there a million
I've taken
times.
tours, students to tour
I love it.
that facility. Oh, yeah.
That
it's
is incredible.
Very historic. you
Yeah,
know.
and all that tar and
Oh,
all the
yeah.
dire wolves and oh man,
Yeah,
yes.
So I'm saying is that that's something that I think is very important for our young people. I tell them they're not going to learn anything being inside the house. You know, unfortunately, a lot of my families I represent are very poor. So anytime I take them Starbucks, movies, I pay for it myself. With the money that I receive on the water board, I invest at least half into my students.
Can I ask a question?
Mm-hmm.
That I know it's a. I know some people say it's a conspiracy and whatever about me, but I've always been told that San Bernardino's water is the golden egg. It's like the lottery that everybody wished they won, and that there are plans on selling our water off. Is that possible?
Now, you're probably talking about the city water department. That is not us. We're San
Yeah, that's what.
Yeah, we're the San Benito Valley Municipal Water District. We bring the water, we receive the water from up north down here, and then we sell it to the retailers from Yucaipa to
but
Fontana.
I'm just wondering if would that be possible?
No, that's
You
not going
don't.
to happen.
You don't think they would do that?
No.
So what happened in Rialto? How did that occur? Why are they paying higher rates now, and why they hate their water
Well,
deal?
I think the city had a financial difficulty, so the best thing was to contract out, just like some of the cities are contract the fire department and the police department, getting the sheriff. They're contracting things out.
Will they contract out our water?
I don't know. I can't speak for the city of San
Yeah.
Bernardino Water Department.
You
but
see
they're
how
very-
serious this stuff
But
is.
no, but I feel they're very stable.
Yeah, but
they're-
it feels like you're kind of getting around the question a little bit there.
well, no, I can't speak for the city San Bernardino
I
Water
can.
Department.
I
Yeah.
live there, and that's my water. You're not going to sell it. It's not yours. You can't have it.
I
Figure
think
out a way
if
to
you
save
read in
it.
the newspapers, we were in litigation with the San Bernardino Water Department over the treatment plant that the East Valley Water District wanted
Yeah,
to build.
from Island.
Yeah, and that was resolved. Sometimes there's misunderstandings.
You know, how did that get resolved? Because I thought the lady who was the head of the water department, I thought she got terminated, and I kind of thought it was behind all of that.
Yeah, that I can't speak to that. All I know is that we did come to an agreement. Everything's in writing. Everything resolved. So there's no more
Politician over
more.
here. Born.
no more attorney fees being spent because nobody comes out ahead when you're paying attorney fees.
San
Both sides.
Bernardino.
All right. We'll get off the water. Now, I have a question that might be a little hard for Carmel, but what is it like to lose an election?
Oh, me?
No. For you, because you lost 12 in a row. So I'd like to.
Well, no,
like,
I lost 11 in a row.
11 in a row. Okay, all right.
And over the years, remember, I started in Riverside, and after losing 6 different elections, somebody says, Gil, you may consider going to San Bernardino. They thought
Okay.
I'd have a better chance.
Okay.
So I did relocate to San Bernardino, and I ran 5 more times. I lost 5 more times. And so how do I feel about that? People would say, hey, there's a loser. There's Gil Navarro running. What are you running for now, Gil? You know, I heard that for years.
Did it drive you?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Good.
Because I was committed to make a change politically with my position. So, so on the 12th try, I got elected. I beat John Miller, who was a medical doctor that assisted in delivering thousands of babies in the city of San Bernardino. He was on the city school board for two terms or three. He was on the county board for a couple terms. And here comes Gil Navarro, ran against him, and I beat him by 2,000 votes. So, and it created shockwaves in San Bernardino County. But you know, sometimes we need a change.
So what you're saying is you should never give up,
No.
even if you lose.
No.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
You agree with that, Carmel?
I think maybe you should try somewhere else, just like Gil did.
I'm saying, are you still going to run for mayor? Are you going to go for something else?
Hey, man, I'm trying to sell everything I own and get the heck out of town, okay?
Yeah, right. We got Carmel for life. All right. So we have a little bit of time left here, and I'd like to do a little bit of history about Chino.
Chino.
Okay, so the Chino Rancho was granted by Governor Alvarado to Antonio Maria Lugo in 1841. In addition to the grant that was made by Governor to Isaac Williams, son-in-law of Lugo, in 1843. Lugo left Chino to move to the San Bernardino Rancho in 1842 with his three sons. Isaac Williams, pictured at the right, remained in Chino until his death in 1856. Williams first came to Los Angeles in 1832. He appears to have become important in local affairs as soon after his arrival, as he was made a member of the Vigilance Committee in 1835. What is that? That's interesting. I have to look that one up. In 1839, he took an oath of office of allegiance and became a naturalized citizen of Mexico, right? Because this used to be Mexico right here. A lot of people don't realize
Southern
that.
California used to be northern Mexico.
Yes,
Really?
yes, absolutely. And a lot of people are blind to that fact. So go back
Well, they
and
tell
check
us
your history
to go
books
back
out.
where we came from, and I says, we never left.
Right here, yeah, right here. And then Native Americans even longer.
There you
Even longer, right? Immediately following, he married the daughter of Don Antonio Maria Lugo. In 1846, hostilities broke out between Californians sympathetic with Mexican rule and Americans. The Chino Ranch House became the site of the Battle of Chino, only a skirmish in the only skirmish in the Mexican War. But it must have been extremely disquisite to Williams, who found himself in the position of offering sanctuary to Americans while he was besieged by the Californians. And that pretty much is a little bit of local history. We used to be Mexico right here.
That's right.
Very,
I learned something new today.
very interesting stuff. All right, I'm Robert Porter with I Love San Bernardino County, and what are we, Carmel?
We're out.
We built this city on rock and roll. Built this city. We built this city on rock and roll. Say you don't know me, I recognize my face. Say you don't care who goes to that kind of place.
KCAA Loma Linda, 1050 AM, 106.5 FM, and now 102.3 FM.
NBC News Radio, I'm Tom Roberts. In response to bipartisan criticism of his summit with Russian President Vladimir Putin, President Trump is tweeting the U.S. cannot exclusively focus on the past, adding he has great confidence in his intelligence people. At the close of the summit in Helsinki today, Trump said the Russia probe has kept the U.S. and Russia apart.
The probe is a disaster for our country. It's kept us separated. There was no collusion at all.
Meanwhile, South Carolina Republican Senator Lindsey Graham tweets that Trump missed an opportunity to hold Russia accountable for meddling in the 2016 presidential election. House Minority Leader Chuck Schumer calls the president's performance shameful and appalling. U.S. officials are charging a Russian national with being a spy for Moscow in the U.S. Maria Butina is also being charged with trying to influence U.S. politics. Dry weather and lightning are igniting wildfires across the West. Stocks mixed on Wall Street today with the Dow gaining 44 points. Tom Roberts, NBC News Radio.
American wallets are wide open. The Commerce Department is reporting a 0.5% gain in retail sales in June alone, 6.6% gain over June of last year, and that's the fastest annual pace in 5 years, despite the fastest increase in inflation in 6 years. The report also bodes well for second quarter growth. Sales in the first quarter only increased 1.9%, but they jumped nearly 6% this quarter. Lots of extra spending this week, at least partly because of the Amazon Prime Day, considered the Black Friday of summer, but it could be boosting the bottom line of some Amazon competitors who are also putting on big sales this week.
Prime Day was created back in 2015 as a way to mark Amazon's 20th anniversary, but now some question its legitimacy. While it does drum up sales during a traditionally slow month for retail, many question whether it's more about marketing than the money.
Yeah, we work really hard on Prime Day to make sure it's the best deal we can get our customers.
But Amazon says this sale benefits brands large and small.
50% of everything we sell worldwide is actually sold by small and medium-sized enterprises, and that's a big deal.
And for once, the Amazon effect isn't all bad news for competitors. Adobe says other major retailers saw sales jump 35% on Prime Day last year.
NBC's Joe Lynn Kent reporting with Amazon's VP Neil Lindsay. China is asking the World Trade Organization to settle the trade war with the United States. China has filed a grievance with the organization over the U.S.'s additional $200 billion in tariffs on Chinese products. Meanwhile, a new report says China is pouring money into U.S. tech startups. The Rhodium Consulting Group says Chinese venture capital invested nearly $2.5 billion in the first 5 months of this year, targeting everything from 3D printing to robotics, artificial intelligence, and biotech. And it is renewing security concerns. And Uber is facing a gender discrimination complaint. It was filed with the U.S. EEOC last August, but it's only been revealed now. It was filed by both current and former Uber employees, but it's not clear if the commission has concluded the probe or intends to take any action. Consumer and business news. Joe McConnell, NBC News Radio.
From the KCAA Weather Center, I'm Rod Williams for tonight. Mostly clear, an overnight low of 59. Sunny and hot on Tuesday with a high of 92. Tuesday night will be clear with an overnight low of 61. West winds at 15. I'm Rod Williams, broadcasting live from the Tri-City Center at the 10 and 210 freeways. We are the trifecta of talk in Southern California. KCAA 102.3 FM Riverside, 106.5 FM Redlands, and The Legacy, 1050 AM Loma Linda and San Bernardino.
Drivers, when it's time to visit the DMV, avoid the long lines and save time by calling toll-free 833-DMV-LINE. That's 833-DMV-5463.
Why are you listening to this radio station? Why? When you can host your own radio show. You're listening and you think you can do better? You have a message or a product you want everyone to know about. Host your own radio show. Team up with the area's best radio professionals and let them make you sound like you should be on NBC. KCAA NBC Radio, that is. KCAA produces more than 50 local programs each week on subjects ranging from business and sports to political talk, vegan diets, or even marijuana-related issues. We don't just broadcast on the radio, we broadcast to the world. Online, on TV, on social media, on Facebook. You'll be all over. Imagine what your friends will say. And KCAA reaches over 5 million people on 3 radio stations. Join the staff on 1050 AM, 102.3 FM, and 106.5 FM. NBC Radio. Jump on the KCAA Express. Call 909-793-1065. That's 909-793-1065 and get ready to transmit.
KCAA.
Look, ain't no time to be down and out. Tune in to the things to be proud about. When you sacrifice and reach your goal, you can look back, clown, and laugh it out. You know the station that's so amazing. Need inspiration and motivation. When you're in your mind with nowhere to go, well then welcome to the Matt Rock Show.
Oh, what is up, Matthew Rock?
What's up, world? Everybody tuning in here to the Matt Rock Show. My name is Matt Rock. I am your host for the evening. So grateful to be here and that you are really investing an hour of your evening wherever you are across the world here with us. If you're here in the Inland Empire, you're listening maybe on the radio on 1050 AM, 106.5 FM, or maybe 102.3 FM. Maybe you're checking us out listening live or watching live on KCAARadio.com or Spreaker, or, of course, the MattRockShow.com. Woo! That was a voiceful right there.
That was a great opening, man. Great job.
There we go. Thank you.
It's like you've done this before.
Just a few times.
Oh, yeah.
Not actually.
Oh, yeah.
This is a good time. So over this hour that we have here together, we're really just going to really bring some motivation, some inspiration. We'll get into that in just a second, but what I really want to do now is welcome my special guest. He is a brother to me. We get mistaken for twins all the time. Your neighbors actually call me Tim, which is kind of weird.
Yeah, and we've stopped explaining ourselves. We just say yes from now on.
That's right. Yeah, so I'm formerly known as Tim on my street, or our street, really. So I'm also his roommate. He is mine as well. This is one of my best friends. You guys give it up for special guest of Season 1, Episode 10 of the Matt Rock Show, Tim
What is
Johnson.
happening, everybody?
Oh, my gosh. Welcome to the show. How you feeling?
I'm feeling great with that intro, man.
There you go.
I didn't know you were going to do that. Wow.
Of course.
Wow.
Got to take care
Shout
of
out
you.
to Andy Mineo. You can't stop me.
There we go, 116. Welcome to the Matt Rock Show, man. It is an honor and a privilege, really, to have you here on the show. Thank you for taking an hour out of your life, really, just to have some fun here on the show.
Thanks for having me, Rumi.
Of course, man. So this is what the show is going to look like tonight. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to be chopping it up. We're really just going to be vibing this entire hour, but we want to make sure that you are as much a part of this experience as we are here. So if you're listening on the radio or listening, but you're not watching the show, we want to invite you to watch the show. This is going to be visually entertaining and intriguing and invigorating. So you can watch it live on KCAARadio.com, themattrockshow.com. Click on next week's episode, or, of course, you can watch this episode any other time after we upload it after the show. So this is tonight's lineup.
Ooh.
We are going to be sharing some fun stories that we've experienced together.
What was that, Rick Ross?
And we have a segment called The Key to Happy. That's new.
Happy
Spartan
Joy.
Academy. That should be fun. We're going to be talking about faith, hope, and love a little bit, heading into Tim's story. And we'll finish it out with some solid rock talk. I know that we're going to bring the energy. Here's what we want you to do. The Matt Rock Show is all about motivating, inspiring, encouraging, supporting, uplifting, and, of course, empowering you and everybody in your life, your friends, your family, your coworkers, everybody that you know across the world. We want to encourage you, if you enjoy any aspect of this show, make sure that you share it with those people in your life and on your social media. Let's take this across the world. So far, we've reached about 7 countries with this show.
Dude.
That's exciting. About 23, 24 states now, coast to coast, including Hawaii and Florida.
Wow.
That's fun. The majority of our listener and viewer base is here in California, but help us take this across the world. This is a global motivation and empowerment mission project.
It's a movement, man.
You know it is. So welcome to the Matt Rock Show. This is more than just Matt Rock and Tim Johnson. You are a part of this. So stay tuned. Let's have a fun hour. So let's jump into it. So we have some fun stories that we're going to head into. So let's start with how we met. Tim, how did we meet?
Oh, man. Well, we met at a church basketball league, man. And we saw each other on the court, and I was like, wow, this guy's pretty cool, you know, until you get to know him. No, that was a joke. That was a joke. Honestly. That was a joke. No, but we actually connected after the game. I liked his energy. He liked mine. And we just clicked and everything. And why don't you tell him what happened next?
Man, you were like, dude, we got to connect. Here's my number. Here's my Instagram, man. Like, you're a really cool
person.
person.
And the dude does not hit me up.
I forgot.
Like,
the other things were on my mind, I guess, and I forgot.
What is going on?
I see him the next week at the next basketball game. He's like, bro, like, we were supposed to connect. Like, what happened? And
he never hit me up.
I forgot, but he made
did,
sure.
Though. Persistence is key.
There you go. You got to be persistent with some people.
Exactly.
And now we're best of friends. We're roomies.
Exactly.
This is my brother right here.
Word.
So that was a good time. So that's how we met. I know that started spending some time with your family right away.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Denny's, Food Babies. We have some good pictures of that.
We have a picture. We're wearing the same Captain America shirt, and we actually have a food baby.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a really good time.
Yeah.
And so what happened next? So when I started spending some time with you and your family, at that point in my life, I really was going through some rough times. And if you guys know anything about me, I really connect with certain kinds of people and family. And I'm rather like adopted into quite a few families, and yours happens to be one of them. I'm so blessed and grateful for that. So shout out to our family back home. We love you guys. Thank you so much for the
love you,
support.
Mom.
And
Dad.
and Gabby. There we go. Grandma, Grandpa, everybody. All right, too many to name. We love you. So then I remember one time I was hanging out, and we really like to spend some family time watching some of our favorite shows. And you guys were watching this show, Psych. Now, I'm a very selfish person with my time, and I remember hanging out with you, and typically I kind of want to do what I want to do, especially if it's in a group setting, and I'm working on that. But you guys were watching the show Psych. I thought it was stupid. And we're about to give, stupid. And we're about to give Psych some free advertising and marketing here.
Oh, yeah.
But after you making me watch a few episodes, I started quoting the show.
Oh, yeah.
I started asking to watch it when I would come over and hang out with the fan band. And Psych really just became a part of our lives. And then a whole lot of started happening. So if you guys aren't going to, if you guys can't tell already, we have a certain kind of energy and connection that is just really going to be fun. So it's not going to be weird. We're just going to be vibing this entire show. You're going to see a lot of this. Come on, Sid.
Oh,
You're going to hear a lot of that.
Don't you ever do that again.
It's just who we are. And, come on, Sid. But if you haven't watched Psych, we're really going to really encourage you to watch that.
Oh, yeah.
That's a good time.
Oh, yeah. Shout out to James Roday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dule Hill. That's one key to make your life better. Watch an
Timothy
episode
Mudson.
of Psych.
You can't forget Lassie.
All of them.
Oh, yeah.
So what happened was you hear on the radio, and I don't know if you exactly have a radio voice, but if you had a radio voice inspired by the show Psych,
inspired by the show Psych,
give us your best radio show voice, Tim Johnson.
Okay, gotta drop it a couple decibels. Oh yeah. Welcome everyone to the Matt Rock Show. Let's take it real nice and slow.
It's not that kind of show, man.
No, it's not. No, that was what Gus does in that.
Gus, how you feel. All right, so we're having a good time. Let's head into our next story, front flip. So one thing I was afraid to do, I am rather clumsy. So are you.
Hey, I think you're more clumsy than I am.
Probably.
By like 1 brownie point.
Yeah, I walk on our house carpet and I twist my ankle, and it's leveled. It
he doesn't know I booby chop it every morning.
So, front flip. So I remember we have a trampoline in the backyard, and if you guys can't tell already, I live with him and his family. It's been an incredible blessing. You have been so gracious to open up half of your room to me, man. Half the closet, half the shelf, half the space. I sleep on a mattress on the floor, and it's the biggest blessing of my life. Well, one of them, and I'm so grateful, man. So one of these days, last summer, I believe it was, we were out back on the new trampoline. It wasn't the new one at that time.
No, it wasn't.
And I've been afraid to do a front flip, a full one, because it was just a fear of mine. And this guy is a beast when it comes to some acrobatics. He has a good time.
Well, I can do everything but a backflip.
Okay. And I wanted him to teach me. Now, it really took some time, but he was there with me. He was patient. He was persistent, and he really encouraged me. And I ended up doing a front flip, and I can't tell you how excited I was to do a front flip for the first time in my life and land it.
Oh, yeah.
And now some mornings I wake up, and it's one of the first things that I do is go out to the trampoline.
And the way I taught you is you jumped up in the air, and then I pushed you in the air, and you just kind of rolled like a ball.
Yeah.
You know, like a little roly-poly.
Until one time where I landed it. I think you got after a couple broken bones, but no, we're kidding.
No, that was an exaggeration.
But that was cool.
It was like 20 broken bones.
That was cool, and I learned how to do a front flip, and now I do it all the time, and it makes me feel so cool, and it reminds me that fears, what we're afraid of, it's really not that scary. If you can have the courage to continuously press on and achieve some of the goals you have, you have fun achieving them in the process.
It just takes some time sometimes.
It does take some time. Next story. Captain America saluting 2,000 Herbalife members. What? So we're both Herbalife members. I'm a distributor. This guy over here is a preferred member. One time we were at one of our success training seminars, and this guy was getting recognized on stage along with me. And this is one of my favorite moments almost in life. We were at the Long Beach Convention Center. There are over 2,000 people in the crowd, a lot of Herbalife members. Everybody's energized, healthy, fit, feeling incredibly amazing. And we're getting recognized. And they say Tim Johnson's name, and this dude salutes, just like Captain America. I don't know if you could tell, but he looks like Captain America. He embodies Captain America. We call him Cap. And that was one of my favorite moments. How did it feel, really, to do something like that in front of 2,000 people?
It felt pretty awesome. It did. It did. It felt like that first scoop of applesauce, you know, where you just eat it, and it's like, wow, this is amazing. That was a weird metaphor, but it was awesome, man. It was super amazing.
Being Captain America and known formally as Captain America in front of 2,000 people.
Being known formally. People were coming up to me afterward and saying, "What's up, Cap?"
just like applesauce.
Yeah, applesauce.
All right, barbecue fails and wins. So, one of the first weekends that I stayed over at this guy's house with him and his family, I had come back from a fishing trip with a good friend of mine, and we had been fishing. I brought home some fish, and we
think it was
fired
like
up the
one
barbecue.
fish.
You're right, it was one fish. Fired up the barbecue, and we roasted
Fired up
some
the
sweet
barbie.
potatoes and the fish, and by we, I mean you. But in the picture on my Instagram, it looks like me with the cutoff tank. It's summertime. I had just worked out, just did some push-ups, so I was looking good. I had a nice haircut, and I have some oven mitts on, and of course, it looks like I'm grilling, I'm barbecuing.
His face is like
and
this. He's like,
in the picture,
what's going on?
in the picture and the Facebook and Instagram post made it look like I was single at the time. I was one heck of a catch. Like, I'm cooking. Fellas, you better cook for your woman and do. So I look pretty good on social media. But if you knew the backstory, Tim, what happened?
Oh my gosh! So this guy tried to fillet a fish, and it was more like he butchered the fish. We looked it up on YouTube, how to fillet a fish, and this guy, oh my gosh! Like, don't have him cook a fish for you, at all. It was
Unless you
bad.
want me to.
It was very bad. I didn't even know we were eating a fish.
I think your mom pulled up a picture earlier
She
of
did.
what the fish looked like, and it looked like a scene from Glory,
Yeah.
the movie where everyone just dies because of Civil War and they
Oh,
were
yeah.
shooting
Oh,
at
yeah.
each other. Yeah, it was kind of like that, but that was my barbecue fail.
But you know what?
Now-
you got
oh,
better at it.
I did.
You did.
So this weekend was my beautiful girlfriend Lindsay's birthday desert camping trip. We got to play with wolves, and it was incredible. I was just looking at photos. I had a wolf lick and nibble on my face. Like, how badass is that? But besides the point, you know what? I told her friend Rob. What's up, Rob? Thank you so much for being a good friend.
Hi, Rob.
I told him, I said, look, I want to learn how to barbecue. I don't know how to barbecue. I was close to somebody a long time ago, and really what they did, the things that they said to me really made me feel incompetent and really made me feel like I couldn't do the simplest of things in life. So I'm actually afraid to help people do things in their own house, in their own area. And I told him I was afraid, and I don't barbecue. I don't know how to. So he showed me, and he took me under his wing, and guess what? I barbecued one heck of a lunch.
That's what's up.
And breakfast the next morning, and my girlfriend got
yeah.
pictures to prove it. So you know what? That's my barbecue win. You do anything you set your mind to.
He
even
went to the
barbecuing.
bobby. He laid him stuff on the bobby.
Yep, and that was a good time. Oh, that food was delicious.
I wish I would have had some.
Oh, and of course, my girlfriend thought it was super hot that I was making lunch and breakfast for everybody, so brownie points to me. Okay, so let's move on. We have a new segment called The Key to Happy. So we're going to start off with Tim. We'll take it tip by tip. So I know that most of us in the world really strive and really desire to be happy. Maybe that's an end goal, maybe it's an immediate goal, whatever it is. Like, people don't want to feel sad. People don't want to feel fearful. They want to be happy. So we thought we would share some of the things that make us happy, if you will. Maybe joyful is a better word. And we'll give you guys some tips, and hopefully these really help you increase the amount and level of happiness you experience in your everyday life, and especially in 2013. Tim, what are one of your tips to being happy?
Being happy. Wow. My first tip for me is eating food. Healthy food, actually.
Yeah.
Staying fed, making sure I'm not hangry. That makes me happy. Happiness is dependent on my circumstances, and eating healthy helps me do that.
Yeah, you don't want to see him hangry. You don't want to see me hangry.
No,
either.
I
It
actually
is
turn
a
into an
bad
enormous
time.
green rage monster.
True story.
Yeah.
All right, so the tip is to eat food, but healthy
food.
That
Healthy
fills you
food,
the right
because it makes
way.
you feel better.
No doubt. Well, one of mine is this. Be diligent about this. Brush your teeth, floss your teeth, and put mouthwash? Yes, mouthwash in your mouth.
I think that's what it's called.
Day and night. So take care of your dental hygiene. Now, what that's going to do, other than obvious attractive qualities about you visibly, is you're going to start feeling healthier and more vibrant in your mouth area, and you're going to want to smile. Whether you smile a lot already or you don't, you're going to want to smile more. And when you smile, you can't help but feel happy. That's what happiness comes from in one aspect, is smiling. So the better dental hygiene you take care of, and my mom always said, you know, only floss the teeth you want to keep. So I'm not trying to have some dentures.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah,
Definitely not.
take care of your grill. You're going to want to smile more, and then the ladies are going to be more attracted to you, fellas.
Make sure you smile real good, like this.
Just like that.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
like that. What's tip number 2, buddy?
For me, getting active and working out. I love doing that. It de-stresses me. I feel better about myself, and I love playing basketball. So that's one thing I go to relieve stress.
And you're a beast on the court.
Oh, well, thank you very much, man. Thank you very much. I try.
Come on, Sid.
Yeah. So
All right.
That's my second tip.
So what was the tip again?
Getting active.
Get active.
Get active.
Get out.
Get
Okay.
outside. Do something.
So your thing is basketball. I know you like weight training a little bit.
Working out.
But great. Take your poodle for a walk. Take the 5-pound weights and power walk. Whatever
Just
you do.
whatever
Hit the
works
gym.
for you.
There we go. My tip is, all right. Now I really want you to think deep about this. Now here's the thing too. If you guys are here on the show, watching the show to support myself and or Tim Johnson, or you're a fan of the show, here's really what I want you to do. Take the show seriously. It's going to be entertaining. It is fun. It is motivational. But really, how can you apply what we share to your life? And if you choose to, great. That's really the intention of the show.
Oh, yeah.
So that was just a friendly reminder. I want you to think about when you were at when you were at not you when you were at your most confident state in your life. How did you feel? What were you doing? Were you producing so much at work? Were you working out, eating healthy? Were you waking up early? Were you taking care of yourself? Were you in your Bible? What were you doing when you were the most confident in life? Think about that. Write down what you were doing. Now here's my tip. Do it again. And now be consistent. What's your next tip, buddy?
My next tip is actually freestyling. Shout out to my freestyle buddy, Zach James. But I actually love freestyling because it's something that gets you out of your comfort zone.
Big time.
And gets you, builds confidence.
We are actually unofficially, freestyle battle rap champions of the Inland Empire in the Fontana 92335
Very
Hempster
officially,
Avenue,
unofficially.
region. So I think you prepared a freestyle rap. You prepared one for us?
I might have indeed.
Okay.
All right. Well,
Okay.
here we go.
This is just off the top of your dome, right?
Off the top of my dome,
Okay.
for real. No doubt.
I feel it.
Matt and Tim here. We live on the air. We got some good news that we want to share. If you're hearing my voice, put your hands in the air. I'm freestyling on the show like I don't even care. Now that that's over, let me take it real slow. Listen to real close. Listen to what I flow. This is so dope. Yeah, you already know. I say one thing. Welcome to the Mad Rock Show.
Yes. That was the sickest freestyle.
Oh my gosh.
Rap I ever heard.
You might want to get
a
a bucket and like pour it on me because it's so hot right now.
Of ice water?
Yeah,
it's actually
ice
hot
water.
here in the studio.
It
I'm
is.
sweating a little bit. You got a little itty bitty fan. That's cute.
We have one fan, man.
Oh yeah.
Get it?
That was
one fan.
One fan. We have one fan of the Matt Rock Show.
That was corny.
But all right. That was good.
Thank you.
That was just off the top of the
That
head.
was
All
off the
right.
top
I'm
of the dome.
impressed. We are totally going to be freestyle battle rapping on the way home from the show tonight, grabbing some BJ's Pizza. All right. My next tip. Do the things that make you feel like a kid again. What do you do that really brings out the joy in your life? Do those things. If people make fun of you, forget them. They are just lacking the confidence to really step into their own uniqueness in their own life and to be themselves and who God called them to be anyway. So whatever it is that makes you feel joyful and like a kid, I want to encourage you, do it. Whenever you can, as much as you can, as often. Because when time is over here on earth, it's over.
Yeah.
So do it. What's your next tip,
Limited.
buddy?
Well, I actually divided this into joy now, because joy is not based on circumstances. It's
Correct.
actually like what you really are.
That's
and,
right.
I get joy from my family and friends, and not just time with them, but quality time, like openness, because they know everything about me. They know who I am, and when they know who I am, they can really support me. I don't have to put on a mask with them. So I would say spend time with your family and friends and let them really get to know you. Be open with them, because there's freedom in that.
I love it. My next tip is be a best friend to yourself. Love yourself first. Now, this guy right here and many of my other best friends, I have many best friends, they treat me with the utmost respect, love, and humility, and everything else there is for you to be a friend to somebody. Now, if you do that for somebody else, or somebody else does it for you, imagine if you did that for yourself in your own life. Like, you really have to understand how to love yourself to love other people, but be your own best friend. Lift yourself up. Encourage yourself. Speak life into yourself day in and day out. Eat healthy. Take care of yourself. Do all the things we're sharing with you on how to do on the show. And there's nothing there's nothing like self-love. So that's my tip. Be a best friend to yourself. Love yourself first. A whole lot of awesomeness is going to flow from that. What's your next tip?
Well, I'm a Christian, and my source of joy really comes from Jesus and His presence in my life, and spending time with God. That's where my joy comes from.
Amen. So my next tip is, okay, face and conquer your fears with courage. Now, the things that you are afraid to do. Now, if you're listening and watching the show right now, I want you to briefly, for a quick second, think, what am I afraid of? What am I afraid to do in my life? It could be taking that leap in business, career, school, personal growth.
It could be a front flip.
Oh, yep. And it could be in a relationship or talking to that girl or guy, whatever it is. I challenge you and encourage you this week. You don't have to do it right now, but that's even better. This week, face and conquer one of your fears. Now, it's going to take courage. It's not easy, or else you would have already done it.
Yeah.
And you'd be living a much better, more joyful, and exciting life. So face and conquer one fear, and it's going to take a whole lot of courage. And courage is sexy. So
yeah, and Matt, you actually wrote something in my adventure journal about fear. You said, fear is false evidence appearing real.
You know that's right.
Oh, yeah. Shout out to you.
Thanks, man. Do you have another tip, or do I have my bonus tips coming up?
No, you got your bonus
tips.
tips.
Oh, yeah. So I have 2 bonus tips. Well, number one, bonus tip number one. You guys weren't expecting that. Watch Psych.
Yes. Do it. Do yourself a favor. Get Netflix. Watch Psych. Wait, no, it's not on Netflix anymore.
Oh, man. Here's
Go
what
on
you can
Amazon.
do.
Buy the whole
Seasons 1 through 8. Tim, put your left hand up like this. Come on, Sid. You're going to see a whole lot of that on the show. It's a
I'm
going to
walk off the show in like 2 seconds, guys.
See ya, man. Yeah, check out Psych. I don't know why, but that show brings me so much comfort, so much joy. I could be having I could be having a terrible day, and that really just lights up my day. You know what? There are certain things that God has blessed certain people to do, and Psych is one of those things.
Yes.
So check it out. My bonus tip number 2, Google and check out, of course, none other than Chuck Norris facts. Tim, what is your favorite Chuck Norris fact?
First of all, I love Chuck Norris. Shout out to you, Chuck. I wish I could meet you someday. Chuck Norris was actually bitten by a cobra. Most people don't know. And after days of excruciating pain, the cobra died.
Man.
Yeah. I know. That poor cobra. He didn't know what he was in for. Matt, what's yours?
My favorite I have 2. My favorite Chuck Norris, 3 actually. My favorite Chuck Norris facts. I can't get enough of these bad boys. Chuck Norris, of course, can slam a revolving door.
He can.
Think about that one.
Yeah.
You know what? Jesus could walk on water, but Chuck Norris can swim through dry land. That's a good one. And, of course, to finish it off, Chuck Norris was born in the same log cabin that he built with his bare hands. Okay, so my tip is check out a Chuck Norris fact, because when you read them and you try to figure it out, it does nothing but bring you joy. So
it'll
hopefully
definitely
that'll
roundhouse
make you
kick you
feel
in
better.
the face.
With laughter and joy. Okay, you guys, so if you guys are just now tuning into the show, we here at the station, along with Carlos and Tim and myself, want to say...
Welcome to the Matt Rock Show. Welcome to the Matt Rock Show. Welcome to the Matt Rock Show. Welcome to the welcome to the welcome to the welcome to the welcome.
Dab on them, son.
To the Matt Rock Show.
There you go. You weren't ready for it. All right, welcome to the Matt Rock Show.
Oh, yeah.
Let's speed this up. Okay, we have a new segment to the show. A whole lot of new segments, because we do whatever we want with the show. It is a good time.
It is your
We call
show.
this Spartan Academy.
Woo!
Oh, man, I was so excited for that when I heard that earlier.
Here, man.
Oh, that's so good. Okay, you guys, so what I have... Now, let me explain Spartan Academy, because I just created this today. So, Spartan Academy, or in other words, becoming a superhero that fires you up. What fires me up are Spartans. Spartan attitude, Spartan lifestyle, King Leonidas. I was a Spartan for Halloween 3 years in a row. You get it. What is your... Spartan Academy. For this guy, it's Captain America. For me, it's King Leonidas, Spartan lifestyle. So what I have are 10 Spartan Academy steps to making 2017 more badass for you. But you're going to have to dive in deep. You're going to have to apply these to your life if you want to see the change. Check it out. We have Spartan Academy tip number 1.
Ooh.
Yeah. Fires me up, man.
I just want to get fired up right now.
Take cold showers. Why? Because it's uncomfortable.
It is.
All right? And if you can willingly do more uncomfortable things, now there are many benefits to cold showers, but I don't know all of them. But I experienced them. I've done some of these things today, so I can speak with integrity on the show. A cold shower really wakes you up, and you want to wake up in the morning.
Oh,
you don't want to slumber away and miss out on your life. Cold showers really wake you up, and you just feel more badass. Like, I took a cold shower. I'm a beast. Spartan Academy tip number 2.
I love this music, man.
Carlos is the man. Wake up before sunrise. Now, these are my tips that I don't do them all the time. I wish I did, but instead of wishing, you know what? I'm just going to commit to it. So do this with me. Wake up before sunrise. There's something so powerful about waking up before the sun comes up. You have so much more time in your day and opportunity to beast your life, to give more and to receive more and to do the things that you love, to add more value to the people that you come across in your job, at home, with your friends, on your social media, and stop scrolling. Go out and see the sunrise. The
Delete
sunrise
social
has been,
media from your phone.
He's done it. He's experienced a lot of success with that as far as his personal joy and happiness.
Yep.
That should be a tip right there.
Oh, yeah.
Spartan Academy tip number 3. Start the day off with an uncomfortable but healthy decision. So in other words, eat the frog. I've done this a few times. I didn't eat a frog.
Oh.
And I don't think I will. But I think you're really not going to make much progress in your life. Progression is moving forward, and new level, new devil. It gets harder the better your life gets with your job, relationship, your personal growth, whatever it is. The better you get, the bigger the obstacles and challenges, of course. So eat the frog. First thing in the morning, do something that is so uncomfortable, but it's not going to hurt you. It's not going to kill you. It's rather healthy for you. So maybe it's going out before the sun rises and doing 40 push-ups until you get exhausted. That's good for you. It's very uncomfortable. I don't want to do push-ups in the morning.
That'll get you buff.
It will, like this guy. But it
Like
makes
you, man.
Thank you. It makes you feel so good. So do something uncomfortable to start your day off, because then, of course, you can do so much more. If I could handle that, if I could do it, today's going to be easy. I can make that sales call, no problem. I can walk up to that door, no problem. I can ask that girl out, no problem. I could do this, I could do that. I can face my fears, no problem. All right, Spartan Academy tip number 4. Fire me up, Carlos. Okay, get yourself on a nutrition program. Fit feels so good. We both have experienced this. Fit feels incredible. When you're healthier, you're more energized, you got some muscles, you're feeling rippity ripped. You're losing weight or you're putting on muscle mass like us. You start smiling bigger, your confidence starts getting better, and you start walking with your head held high. Your days are better. You are more attractive to your partner or to potential partners. Like, everything gets better when you take care of yourself. Fit feels incredible. And of course you'll get some abs if you do it right. If you need help with your nutrition, you know who to hit up. I'm your boy, Matt Rock. Welcome to the Matt Rock Show. Spartan Tip Academy. Spartan Academy tip number 5. All right, get yourself.
I got the voice thing down now.
Dude, you do. Get yourself on a consistent workout regimen, whatever that is for you. He kind of touched on that earlier. I like to strength train, so does this guy. We like to hit the weights. And you know what? One thing I'm not great at is being consistent in the gym. But you know what? The show isn't just for you. It's for me and for him as well. So you know what? Together, let's stay consistent in the gym. Simply go to YouTube. Find out basic beginner workouts. You have access at your fingertips, but you're spending it scrolling, looking at strangers you don't even know, wasting away your life. So might as well invest your time and get on a consistent, amazing, and applicable workout regimen.
Drop the mic.
Spartan, I would if I was holding it. Spartan Academy tip number 6. All right, we have mirror, shower, jogging, car affirmations. Wherever you like to do that. I like to do it in the car, in the shower, sometimes in the mirror, but mostly in the shower and in the car. Now, I know this may be very uncomfortable, but when you get out of your comfort zone, you start speaking life into yourself, you just start feeling so much better, because so many people are talking negative out in the world. You have to lift yourself up. Be that voice, because not many people are willing to be that for you. Affirm yourself. Spartan Academy tip number 7. Watch the movie 300. Duh. Spartan Academy tip number 8. All right. Fight life on your knees. Pray it up. You can only do so much standing and taking. Thank you. And taking on life by yourself. Fight life on your knees. Watch what happens. Yep. You know what I mean. Spartan Academy tip number 9. Attack your mindset. Getting so close to this mic. Attack your mindset. Book of choice. What do you need to learn to grow and develop at this point in your life? What is it? Your finances, your personal development, maybe your relationship, your confidence, your faith. Pick a category. Now, if you want, you can email me and you can ask me what books do I suggest, because I love reading personal development books. And pick a book in that category that will help you take your life to the next level. Self-help is incredible. Personal development. Spartan Academy tip number 10.
Number 10! Number 3, my lord! Number 3, my lord!
Take responsibility for your life.
Yes.
Ooh.
Yes.
So uncomfortable, but so good. Boys, you'll feel like a man. You will become a man when you take responsibility for your life. I am learning to do this more and more. There we go. Bonus Spartan Academy tip number 11. This is a funny one. Pluck a nose hair or two. I dare you. I did this earlier today just to experience it. If you're a grown man, I dare you not to cry plucking a nose hair or two. So if you think you're a beast and you're big, you're bad, you're buff, and you're a bully, go pluck.
I actually had to comfort you the other day because you were crying.
I was crying in a corner. Yeah. I really wasn't. Maybe that's true. I don't know.
A little bit.
That's a funny one, but I dare you to do it. So uncomfortable. Start your day off like that. Watch what happens. If you can live through that, you can live through anything. Wow. Bonus Spartan Academy tip number 12. This is the last one. No retreat, no surrender mentality. You could do this in your workouts. You could do this in your relationship. You could do this in life with your personal development and your growth. No retreat, no surrender mentality means that if it's something worth fighting for, if it's something worth committing for, when you fall, you will rise. If you fall 7 times, you will rise 8. So, no retreat, no surrender. I think we have. Oh, there we go.
Arcadian. Spartans.
I'm hearing voices in my head.
Spartans never surrender.
Oh, I love that movie. It fires me up. Okay, let's go ahead and move forward. So, dude, this show goes by so quick.
It does.
We are behind schedule, but here's what we're going to do. We have 2 segments left. We have Solid Rock Talk, and then I'm going to give you the rest of the time really just to kind of dive into your story. So let's go ahead and dive into Solid Rock Talk. We'll spend a few moments on that. Solid Rock Talk is really where we take a book that I've experienced, a personal development, self-help kind of book, and we talk about some concepts. We talk about some of our favorite ideas and quotes. We'll dive into it. If you feel inspired by any aspect of it, check out that certain book. You can tell we have a lot of books. Like 9 of these have been on the show so far. Today's Solid Rock Talk book is none other than the Bible. I have here the New International Version with me. And what we want to do is we each wrote down 3 of our favorite Bible verses and why they are. And we're going to keep it very brief, very quick to move on with the show. But feel free to reach out. If you want to dive deeper into this with us, you can reach out to me via my email, which is on themattrockshow.com, or themattrockshow.com at gmail.com. There we go. Or you can reach out to Tim. His email is under Season 1 episodes as well. You can contact either one of us to dive deeper in if you feel inspired to do that. But one of my favorite Bible verses is Proverbs 10:14. Let me read that to you. This is the New International Version. Proverbs 10:14. The wise store up knowledge, but the mouth of a fool invites ruin. Now, I'm not somebody to teach on the Bible, and we're not pushing anything on you guys. We're just kind of sharing what we're passionate about, what we love. But why really I chose that as one of them is the wise store up knowledge. Knowledge, of course, backed by action, is very powerful in your life. But if you don't store up knowledge in your life via personal development, knowledge of truth, knowledge of circumstance, knowledge of what's going on around your life, what's possible for you, really, you're making a foolish decision. But the mouth of a fool invites ruin. The more you learn, you've heard the more you learn, the more you earn in life. But really, the more you learn, the better life gets, the wiser you grow. I could talk about this forever. I'm going around in circles. That verse just really speaks powerful to me. I love Proverbs. We're going to jump into one of your favorite scripture.
Definitely. Well, one of my favorite scriptures is Romans 8:28, which actually says, and we know that God works out everything for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose. And I love that because that means he can take my failures, he can take the good times, the bad times, the times that I hate, and if I give it to him, if I give my life to him, he can use it for his glory and for my good. He makes beauty from ashes, and that's amazing.
No doubt. My second favorite Bible verse is Matthew 7:25. 24 to 27. Not just because it's my name, but here's why. I'm going to read it and then I'll kind of expand on that. Anyone who listens to my teaching, this isn't me talking, this is the word. Anyone who listens to my teaching and follows it is wise, like a person who builds a house on solid rock. Though the rain comes in torrents and the flood waters rise and the winds beat against that house, it won't collapse because it is built on bedrock. But anyone who hears my teaching and doesn't obey it is foolish, like a person who builds a house on sand. When the rains and floods come and the winds beat against that house, it will collapse with a mighty crash. When you read that, and you can go look on the Bible online or in your YouVerse Bible app or your own Bible, you can really read that and you picture it. It's so visual. I love how the Bible is so visual and it makes sense to you. But these verses actually inspired the name and the birth of my real estate investing company, Solid Rock Investors, which is a limited liability company. I love that, and it's truth in itself. I don't even need to add anything else to it. What's your next Bible verse?
My next one is Jeremiah 29:11, and I love this. He says, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans for welfare and not for calamity, to give you a future and a hope." And even though I may go through hard times, Jesus says, I know the plans I have for you, and you just have to trust me, you know?
Come on, son.
I know. Come on, son. It's his living love letter to me, you know?
And my last of the three that I'm talking about today for the Bible verses comes from Song of Songs, chapter 1, verse 2. Now, this is really where a wife and a husband are going back and forth. Check it out for yourself. But this is kind of funny where I get to share about it. But she is speaking, not me. She is speaking, and she says, "Let him kiss me with the kisses of his mouth, for your love is more delightful than wine." In today's society...
Wait, the Bible's romantic?
What? Come
the
on,
Bible
son.
talks about relationships?
Come on, son. So, in a world where rap and hip-hop and... not that rap and hip-hop are bad, because we do it all the time.
No.
But sex, money, drugs, all those things are really being pushed out into mainstream, and we're seeing women with...
in the wrong perspective.
Yes, thank you. This is why you're here on the show, to help me out.
Sex is good. God created sex.
Amen. And
in marriage and everything.
Yes. Yep. And in today's society, I think most of us forget what romance is. I think most of us forget what it's like to feel love and experience love. And so many young women and men desire love, desire affection, desire to feel something more. Not just in their body and in lower and upper regions, but we're talking in the heart, in the mind, in the spirit. And when she says, "Let him kiss me with the kisses of his mouth," how simple is that? But if you can imagine something so passionate, so sweet, so simple and soft, something as that, I know every woman desires love. I know every man deep down in his heart as well desires love and passion and to fight for a woman. Check out episode 3 with Vanessa Borrowell, where we talk about Wild at Heart, where we dive deeper into that. And of course, for your love is more delightful than wine. We know women love wine. And of course, his love is more delightful than wine. So men, we want to encourage you. Be a man that is of love and of courage and of inspiration, more than of what your buddies want you to be and what you feel you need to be because of society and all of these things. Be the man of God that God has really created you to be, and be the rock for your woman, whether she exists now and you know that, or she is somewhere in your future. But just know, women desire to be loved and cherished. So, you heard it here on the Matt Rock Show. Do you have another Bible verse?
I got one last verse, and it's Psalm 139, 13 and 15.
Okay.
It says, "For you formed my inward parts. You wove me in my mother's womb. I will give thanks to you, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Wonderful are your works, and my soul knows it very well." And I love this because you're beautiful. You're loved.
Thank you.
You're a masterpiece. I'm talking to the camera, but you also, man.
Appreciate that.
But he says right here, you're fearfully and wonderfully made. I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. You know, I'm God's masterpiece. I am fearfully, wonderfully made. I'm not a mistake.
Amen.
You know, and even before I was born, he started forming me in my mom's womb. He knew me before I was born, which actually kind of goes into my story a little bit.
So let's go ahead and dive into your story. Here on the Matt Rock Show, we have 15 minutes left. So really, I kind of want to give you the space really just to share your heart, Tim, and to speak whatever comes and flows into your heart, your mind, your spirit. If you want me to ask questions to kind of penetrate deeper into that, feel free. But I'm really here just to check out your story, and this is really for the world to be inspired by. So yeah, just talk, man. Share whatever you want to share.
Well, thank you, man. It's an honor to be able to share my story right now. And everybody's got a story. You know? Everybody's got a story. So, yeah, I grew up in a Christian family. We go into church every Sunday and everything like that. And when my mom and dad actually found out that my mom was pregnant, because my dad didn't get pregnant, but my mom was pregnant with me, they actually prayed about what to name me. And they both heard the name separately, Timothy, which means honoring God. And so they named me Timothy. And they flipped the coin for my middle name, and my dad won, so now it's Timothy Michael Johnson and everything. But at 4 years old, my mom actually sat me down and explained to me what being a Christian was. You know, that Jesus died for my sin, that there were consequences to my sin, and if I turn to him, he'll forgive me, and he'll make me new. And I did. And I remember at 4 years old doing that. And I remember the joy that came with that, even at such a young age. And that childlike faith, you know. But that's, you know, being a Christian doesn't mean your life's all perfect at all.
Not at all, not even close.
At 4 years old, in church actually, by a person at church, I was actually molested. And statistics say that 1 out of every 4 people are molested sometime during their life. And there was a lot of shame with that. I didn't tell my mom until I was 12 years old. And there was a lot of shame, a lot of, like, I don't want to tell anybody because what are they going to think of me, you know? But there was so much freedom, so much openness in actually coming out with that and saying, this is what happened. And so I was molested. And also being a Christian doesn't mean everything's perfect in your family, you know? My family, I actually come from a broken family. My parents who separated when I was 10 and everything. And they were separated for 2 years. I didn't get to see my dad a lot. And for a kid who's 10 years old, not being able to see his dad, it takes its toll. It takes its toll on you. And you have a lot of feelings of anger toward, you know, say your father, that show itself later on down the years and everything. But by the grace of God, and only by Jesus, my parents got back together. My mom and my dad made it work, and they are happy today. And think you can attest to that, man.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I really can.
And,
yeah, I've seen that for the past 2.5 years.
He healed my parents. He healed my family. And not only that, but he healed my relationship with my dad. My dad, I went from not wanting to admire him, not wanting to be like him, to now I want to be a father just like my dad. And I think that's because I've been forgiven so much. I can forgive, and likewise. And it's just amazing how I look at how my family was and how it is today. And no amount of self-help was going to do it. No amount of counseling was going to do it. But Jesus and open communication, you know. It has to be that open communication. And so he healed my parents' relationship. And, you know, ever since then, that time in my life, it was the hardest time in my life. But that really made my faith my own. That was a thing that made me say, you know what, either Jesus is real or he's not. And he says he's the way, the truth, and the life. And am I going to believe it or I'm not going to, you know? And he didn't just make me a better person, because I'm not perfect. And Christianity is not about getting all your crap together so you look good. Christianity is about laying your crap out and allowing him to come change you. And you know, he died on the cross for my sins, all those secret sins that if people found out about, they'd be like, whoa, you do that? You did that? You did this?
I think we all have some of those.
God knows that, man. And he says, I still love you. And I think that's what I found in Christ. Not a set of rules, not a set of rules or laws that I have to obey or else I'm not going to be a good person. But I found real life. I found real hope. I found real joy, real peace. Peace that's not in my circumstances. I like to put it this way. Imagine you're on a boat, and the boat is in the ocean, and there's a storm brewing. You got wind, you have waves, water's coming inside the boat, you have lightning that strikes, you have thunder everywhere, you're scared stiff, but you know who the captain is, and you know you're going to make it to dry land. That's peace. And Jesus is my captain. And real joy, you know, it's great to be happy, but real joy goes deeper than happiness. You know, real joy comes from me knowing who Jesus is and knowing who I am in Christ. Because I realize I'm not what I do. I'm not just a student. I'm not just a friend or a brother. Like, I'm a new creation in Jesus. Like, I'm a child of the living King. You know?
How amazing is that?
You actually find out who you are. And all those questions of who am I? Why am I here? This and this and this. It's like, it's all answered in Christ for me. And real joy, real peace, and real hope. I know where I'm going after I die. And that shows itself in how I live right now. And this kind of life goes so much deeper than any material thing, any thing on the surface that, you know, I put out to make me look good, or everybody puts their best thing up on social media, their best face on social media.
Everybody looks good on social media. I look good flipping hamburger patties and sweet potatoes on social media.
But the things you don't put on social media, God sees those and he says, I still love you.
Like the murdered fish. He loves me for that.
Yeah. And actually, real quick, on my birthday, my dad took me out to eat, and it was a great time. Because afterward, we were in the car, and he was saying, Tim, I love you. I'm so proud of you. I prayed for our family for years, and when you were born, God answered the desire of my heart, and you were the desire of my heart. And, you know, I'm in tears. My dad's in tears. And he said, I love you and I'm proud of you. And I heard God speak to my heart, and he said, Tim, that's the way I feel about you. I'm your father. I love you. I'm proud of you. You're the desire of my heart. It's like that relationship I have with my dad, that's the type of relationship God wants with me through Christ. And I think when I fall more in love with Jesus, everything else just takes second place, man. Like he's my first love. And he's the best thing that's in my life. So that's my story, man. He takes the horrible things like being molested and coming from a broken family, and just makes it beautiful. He makes it a testimony. He takes a test, turns it into a testimony. There you go.
You're probably gonna hate me for this, man, but I think that so many women out there are looking for that kind of man in church, but they need to be watching the Matt Rock Show. You single guy, you.
Thanks, man.
I can't wait to see all these emails coming in.
I'm single. Yeah.
Oh yeah, you got it, Cap. You got it, Cap.
No,
You're quite the catch.
I am actually very content.
You are. I know this.
Content.
You are focusing on your life, and that is incredible.
It'll happen when it will happen.
Of course,
in the right time.
Big time.
Oh yeah.
I just like to give you a hard time, dude. So earlier when we were talking about the freestyle, you totally told me a freestyle where you were dogging on me, man.
I was dogging
and
on
I
you,
was
bro.
so hoping that you would share that here on the show. Do you remember that? Or,
oh my god.
Because if you don't, that's okay. We can move on. But I was just actually kind of hoping you would say that because that was a good time.
It was. Go ahead.
Actually, if you guys want to hear us freestyle battle rap, what you can do is actually hang out with us outside of the show, and we'll drive somewhere, we'll get some food, and we'll do it in the car. So we're not going to do it here live on the air.
And I promise you there will be a lot of laughs. A lot of laughs. It'll be a great time.
It'll be a really good time. There's nothing more embarrassing than totally bombing on a freestyle battle rap in front of people. I say battle rap. We're not really battling. But you guys, we have 6 minutes left here on the show. So what we want to do is really just go with where our hearts take us. We have a few minutes. So, Tim, is there anything that you would like to encourage any viewer, any listener, whether you know them or not, to really take on this year personally? You know, a lot of people want to move forward with their life, and they are afraid of taking the action. They're afraid of taking a leap out on faith.
Yeah.
They're afraid of changing their circumstances because of what people think about them. Can you think of anything that you can provide for people maybe to take on, to encourage them, to challenge them this year?
I would say find someone that really supports you, and just start building a relationship with them, a relationship where you can be open with them. Open about your struggles, open about how you feel in certain moments, and knowing that they're not going to judge you, but they're here to help you and lift you up, and maybe tell you when you're not doing something right and encourage you when you're doing something good. But I found that in that openness, in letting people in into actually who you really are, especially for me, my relationship with God, but also with my family and my friends. There was so much freedom in that, you know? I think so oftentimes we want to control our lives. We want to make ourselves look good. And it's not until you show people your scars that there's real freedom.
Yeah.
So show your scars. Show your scars.
Yeah, we're not going to dive into it, but I've actually experienced one of the most uncomfortable moments in my life where I actually got to show a scar, and it was very fresh at the time in front of your family. You guys, there's nothing, like you just said, really more freeing than really unveiling who you are, what you've done, and be careful with that. Don't broadcast it.
No, don't
please.
broadcast it. But for me, it's, you know, sharing my scars and having Jesus just cleanse those.
Big time.
It's amazing.
Doesn't matter who you are loved, you are incredible.
You're beautiful.
And you're not just hearing it here from the Matt Rock Show, from Tim Johnson and Matt Rock, but really it was with you before you were born. And we just want to really remind and encourage you guys that you are loved, you are special, you are unique. You have something within you that the world needs to experience, and you have to experience it for yourself. Dive deep down into the pit and the depths of your heart, your spirit, your mind, your soul, and really, really find out who you are. Live that out. Experience it. It's going to take some courage. It's going to take some guts. It's going to take some cojones. Como said. It's going to take some of these. And, yeah, so what we're going to do is now we are going to close out the Matt Rock Show. So, again, my name is Matt Rock. I've been your host here. Thank you so much, Tim. This has been my special guest of Season 1.
This has been awesome.
Episode
it's been so much
10.
fun.
Tim Johnson, Captain America over here. This is a memory we're going to look back on forever.
Dude,
so
De La is playing.
Dude,
shout out to George the Jungle and Brendan Fraser. Like, that is the best movie ever, man.
It is. That brings pure joy right there.
Does.
So we want to thank you, our audience, for watching, for listening, for rocking with us in 2017. Remember, this isn't just for us. This is for you. Live out your best life this year. Become the badass that you are. We believe in you. Reach out if you need support. If you want to connect, you can reach Tim at his email, which will be showcased on the MattRockShow.com.
Yeah, it's
also
cap,
mine.
It's cap_42 at iCloud.com.
There you go. You can also find this episode any other time after tonight's airing on the MattRockShow.com under Season 1 episodes. You can follow me on Instagram at The Matt Rock Show. Make sure that if you were inspired, encouraged, empowered, uplifted in any sense of those words, share this episode and the MattRockShow.com with your friends, your family, and on your social media. Add some value to your social media today. So thank you so much, you guys. Tune in to episode 11 next week, where I will not be hosting the show. To find out who's hosting the show, you got to tune in. Make sure
You're the
you add
special
us on.
guest next week?
What? You just gave it away. What's going on? We have 3 special guest hosts, and I'm not going to let you know who they are, but he's one of them. And it's going to be such a good time. So now we are going to rock
Snap,
out
crackle, pop.
to De La,
De La.
which is one of our favorite songs. You
Yes.
guys have a badass week. You are loved. You are incredible. You, hear
You
it
matter.
here on the MattRockShow.com.
Yes, you're beautiful.
This isn't the MattRockShow.com. This
I
is
love
the Matt
you,
Rock Show.
guys.
Yep. We're just
I
going to
love
end
you
it
too,
there.
man.
Salute.
Oh, yeah.
Peace out, you guys.
Peace.
Have an amazing week. Turn it up, Carlos.